Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Talk Guns at Quincy's Corner. I'm Quincy. Welcome to my corner. Today we're going to be working on a Thompson Center Black Diamond Muzzleloader, chambered in 50 cal stainless barrel. And this belongs to my father-in-law, and this weekend is opening day for a muzzleloader. If I'm right, he's probably going to be taking my son out with him, so we definitely want to make sure this thing's in tip-top shape, ready to go. Alright folks, got everything laid out that we're probably going to need to tear this thing down. Now, one concern with any black powder rifle is, I've seen it dozens of times, muzzleloader season's over, you pull the primer off, you stick it away for the winter, already loaded. Luckily, this gun has been checked and fired. Every gun will always be checked before we ever start doing any maintenance on them. So let's get this thing tore down, guys. What do you say? First things first, I'm going to try to get these swivel slings to break loose and get it out the way where it's nylon. I just don't want to try to get any kind of oil or anything on it. Shouldn't damage it, but then you'll just kind of end up with a messy situation. Let's see what we got with it. That one off. And that one off. Let's put this to the side out the way. Right here on the bottom are the two action screws that lock everything down to the stock. Now always make sure you use the right size screwdrivers on any screw. Technically I should be using a set of screwdrivers specifically for gunsmithing. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm your average Joe when it comes to my firearms. I have some tools here that I use specifically for firearms, but I don't do this enough to justify going out and spending a lot of money. The firearms that I have for myself or that I normally work on do tend to be less expensive firearms. Get the two screws pulled out. And there it went, the action broke loose. I felt the stock move. Is. And right there was a little something that I wasn't sure about. There was a washer down in the stock. So anytime you're taking something apart, pay real close attention to it. And that way, any small parts that happen to be there that you're not sure of don't go flying one way or another, or don't fall into the ground, and then you spend hours trying to find them. Let's get the ramrod pulled off. To be honest, I probably should have done that before anything else. Set that to the side there. And yeah, you can see heavy powder burns even on the bottom of the scope. So this thing's probably fairly nasty, not sealing up real good, which admittedly the nipple's right here where the primer goes. It's not a sealed system, so you know, not too uncommon. Anytime you're backing parts off on the action, be careful. A lot of times there are springs inside, and that's when parts like to go flying. I've had that happen to me more times than I can count, and myself, my wife, my kids, we have spent hours among hours looking for those little parts. Now, muzzle loaders are normally fairly easy. They're not very complicated systems. They're pretty straightforward. Now there are little tricks on this system getting it put back together, as far as what you have to press when and where. Let's see. Another little tip or trick that I kind of do. This rag, and it looks pretty nasty. It's been washed several times over and over. This is actually a cleaning cloth for jewelry. I use this especially on something that's stainless, because anytime you scratch stainless, it's going to show up. This cloth is just super soft. So if you've got a fairly old firearm, or a firearm that you really want to protect the finish on, this has been one of the best, I guess, hacks that you could do. Because like I said, it's just a super soft cloth straight out of the box. Nothing you got to do to it at all. So, and now, admittedly, I did go ahead and pre-soak the bore. One of the items I really love to use is the Lucas CLP. Works real good for cleaning and does a pretty decent job keeping firearms lubricated. Fairly inexpensive. The whole can, let's see, it's 11-ounce can, runs about $10. I've seen it everywhere from, I think, Dick's Sporting Goods, Dunham Sports, all the way to my local auto parts stores. So fairly easy to find, fairly easy to pick up. And I'll tell you what, this is where my nice little Tac flashlight's going to come in handy. So, got all that tore apart. Let's try to get a little look down through here. Oh yeah, she needs a little TLC. Alright, well that's got everything torn down that we're going to get torn down. So, with everything apart, let's get it all cleaned up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be honest, I wasn't going to bore you with another cleaning video. There's dozens of those to hundreds of those out there on the internet for you to look at. What I wanted to point out is, just because a firearm is stainless does not mean it cannot rust. I'm going to have some pictures posted up here for you guys to look at, but down here in the chamber, there is some pitting starting to happen. And what that come from is from the nipple is carbon steel. Probably hardened because it takes quite a bit of a beating. The bolt is carbon steel, the face of it, where it strikes the primer. You can see some heavy pitting in that. And even the mainspring, carbon steel. So, as well as parts down here, the trigger group, all of these parts are carbon steel. So yeah, the action and the barrel are the only two parts of this that are stainless. A lot of times if you introduce stainless with another material, it will cause pitting, whether it's aluminum, an iron, or carbon steel. So just remember, just because it says stainless doesn't mean you can neglect the maintenance of it. My opinion, leaving the firearm stored for the last year with the powder still in it, that definitely doesn't help. The bore was pretty dirty. Luckily, I don't really see any pitting inside the bore, so it's not going to affect any accuracy. However, we have to make sure that the pitting that's in here now does not continue to spray it. Definitely keep your firearms lubricated well, but not too much. There is such a thing as too much lube. But if you start to see any pitting like this, take care of it right away. So we're going to get this thing put back together. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much going to wrap this up. Like I said, this episode was more or less showing you that maintaining your firearms is essential. There's never a worse time for your firearm to fail than when you need it the most. So head over to NCCA's website for all your cleaning supplies, lubes, solvents, cleaners, oils, brushes, anything and everything you need to keep your firearms clean and well maintained. Follow the link below, save yourself 10%. Head over to tacxprogear.shop for all your other supplies. They've got everything from cleaning mats, holsters, anything you need. And let me tell you guys, those neoprene cleaning mats are awesome. They're customizable. You can send in your own image. You can even get your own face put on your cleaning mat. Whatever you want, they'll do it.